Welcome to Pagan Crafting. I'm your local art and green witch. Today we're going to rock a FairyCore Mirror, a portal to the forest with, yes, mushrooms. Glow-in-the-dark mushrooms. It has been too long I have not made something that glows that is mushroom-like. So here we are, a FairyCore Mirror to rock your day. Join me today as we glow away into the night. Alright, so what we get to start off with is some white polymer clay. Now this stuff is foam clay, air dry foam clay. It is so much fun to use. Check this out, check this out. Oh, what? This stuff is so incredible to use and so much fun and extremely distracting. So I did lose some footage for making all these little polypore mushrooms and everything, and it took so long I am not able to put that in again. So I am going to show you what I've made and hope that you will enjoy other videos of mine where I've made some mushrooms and you'll be able to see all the steps. I can make, if you want, comment down below if you want me to make a video on just sculpting mushrooms. I'd hit that for you if you so would. These ones here with the blue candles are going to be mounted onto the mirror. These ones are more polypore mushrooms. I'm going to paint those ones with the purples and oranges and creams. There we go. These ones are also going to sit candles on. I have tons of little sizes because I want to I'd rather make extra than have not enough. And these are some cute little guys. I'm going to do some little brown mushrooms here. I hope I made enough of those. But these ones, I think I kind of overdid it. I made an absolute insane amount. They were so easy to make. Just make little pierogies, fold them in half, squish them, do some lines on, boom, they're done. I'm going to look at some pine mushrooms. So I'm painting a creamier chocolate coat on there, more of a coffee cream, if you will. And then we're going to paint a dry brushing over top of some dark, and that'll help kind of bring out those pores in there. So I'm going to hit all these little guys to paint them first, and then we're going to dry brush together. These little mushroom tops are going to be, I'm going to do some dry brushing of some cream and some chocolate brown on them to bring out the definition. So dry brush is your friend. Make sure the brush isn't wet. And I'm going to put a little bit of the light cream on top of each mushroom. Then I take some of the chocolate brown and I go around the edges. I also hit the base of the stem too with the chocolate. Hey, pretty quick and easy. Now I have some black mixed in with the chocolate. And I'm going to do really light coat over top of the pines to bring that out. And then I look at that, so doing the opposite what I do with my stones, starting with lightest going to darkest. And the stones I go from darkest going to the lightest. Little trash brush to get it in there wherever you need to fill in the holes, and some around the veil as well, the cap. I think I wound up darkening or lightening up the stems. I think the actual picture of the stems are lighter. I'm trying to remember what I did there. Now this one we're going to do a little blending technique, laying down the purple, fading into a lavender, and then we're going to fade it into white. So hitting the white second, and then we'll lay in the lavender and we'll start stamp brushing, like trash brushing it in to overlap. So it takes a little bit, but you just take your time. And we just blend it in, blend it, blend and blend it. And then I'm using a drier brush, tipping one side with the darker purple and the lighter soft with the lavender. And again, just stamp brushing, and it's just taking time. Now on to our little red tops. Ooh. I'm gonna do the cream on the inside of the cap. And then a little dry brushing around its little veil, around its little skirt. Just a very, very gentle dry brush with the coffee color. I didn't go in with the brown on this one, just subtle. And then of course our fire engine red. Yes, this is one of my favorite colors. Oh, I love red. It is such an amazing color. It makes me feel so good. Especially for the little mushrooms, it makes me feel happy. And then all you have to do is get your little dot tools after everything's all dry, and then you can start dotting in your little white circles around top of your mushrooms, which for some reason I didn't video. Not sure why. Now on to our polypores, getting in the cracks with purple first. So around the edges with kind of a magenta purple. I didn't go with the royal purple like I did on the mushrooms, more of a magenta. So I think that really fills in nicely and blends in nicely with the orange that I'm about to use. So grabbing a wider brush now, a fan brush, and then grabbing into the cream, mixing that in. Now most of this one in particular is going to be hidden because this is one of the largest ones that I made, because that's the one that the candles are going to be going on. So I'm just bringing out the colors a little bit more to the edges. And again, back to the orange, having some fun with the oranges, and then into the orangey cream. I mixed in a coffee cream in with the orange to get that color. And I did paint the bottom of all these as well, because you're going to have the reflection of the mirror. So I didn't just paint them one color. And here's our finished look. We did a couple kinds of polypore, some little mushroom buttons, and away we go. Now, I was researching quite a bit to find this mirror on Instagram, but I came across the Prickly Alpaca. She's on YouTube as the Prickly Alpaca. You'll be able to check out her channel. You could also see that she made a mirror like this. I just want to plug her in and say absolutely amazing, and there's a picture of her mirror. So I never knew about the foam clay until that video. So that was inspiring from her. But these are also called not only fairy mirrors, but they're called forest portals. So if you want to look up some ideas on Instagram, check out the term forest portal. That'll give you a bunch more ideas to work with too. So I'm laying down a back on this mirror. Check it out. Only cost me $5 at the local thrift store. Love recycle, reuse, my friend. So I'm adding a back onto this so I have something more to stick on all my moss and my lights. I'm going to be doing some glow-in-the-dark mushrooms again, which I love doing and I have not been able to do for you in a couple months. It's been a while. It has been a while. How long has it been? It's been too long, my friends. It's been too long. We need something mushroomy and glowy. That's one thing you're going to get a lot on this channel. All things to do with mushrooms. I think I'm a mushroom witch. I'm coming to terms with I need to identify also as a mushroom witch. Laying down some hot glue. We're going to stick this backing on nice and tight. There, this will give me a nice base now to work on all my other goodies and mount my lights and mount more moss on. So I wound up trimming off the sides a little bit, going back to the original shape. I thought I was gonna leave that, but I really preferred the shape, so I wound up trimming that off and a little bit later off camera. I'm reinforcing it now with extra hot glue. This is called Old Man's Beard. I was at a place called Medicine Lake here at the beginning of August camping, and there was this old pine tree that was basically getting suffocated out by the old man's beard moss, but I managed to get some broken branches that were on the ground, and I picked off a whole bunch of the moss in lieu of making this mirror. So I'm going to build up all around the edges on top of the spine of the metal part of the mirror. Everywhere I have the metal part of the mirror, I decided to bring up with the little sticks that I found on the ground. And they wound up going really cool, really nicely with the shape of the mirror. I wasn't expecting to do that, and it just really created a really cool flow, and I had enough of this stuff to really go around and have a lot of fun with the mirror. So there we go, hiding all the metal with the sticks and the moss. Looks really cool. And then I'm gonna build up next is, you can see me because I have nothing else to do to hide this, sorry. But we're gonna build up lights now. I am so glad that I had more of these, but I still had to go to the store and get one more pack. I had 2 of them for this project, thinking I was only going to use 1, wound up using 3 for this pack. So what you do is you twist the lights, it won't break the wire, and that's going to be the base of your light for your mushroom. Then you can turn and twist the wire however you wish once you mount it onto your mirror. I didn't want them just to grow straight. I want them to grow out and up like a little L shape, a little crook. So I kept these ones a little bit longer. Because I kept them a little bit longer, I wound up going through more of the wire. Super easy to twist on. You could also glue it on with your hot glue too, because you are going to be hitting that with glue later, so it will be more secured to your twigs. And try to get it more around the base of the spine of the mirror if you can. Hot glue it down. And anywhere where I kind of skipped a light here and there, so what I would do, I would hide it amongst a little stem, a tree, that add more moss on top of that to hide the light if I wasn't going to be adding a mushroom onto it. It would just allow me some space in between so the mushrooms weren't just cluttered in one spot. Gluing them down as I go, because they will not stick to moss very well, and you got to remember they're going to have the weight of the mushroom cap lid to it too. So find them a good home. We're going to speed up the process here. And I just worked my way all the way around, again using 3 different packs of lights to make this one work. Now we're going to hit the stem. Now you're going to build up the glue. So you hit one side, let it cool down, and then you come back and hit the other side. If you try to do both sides of the stem when you're putting your hot glue, it just melts and drips down and you won't create a good stem. So just hit one side, let it cool, kind of go all the way around on one side, and then come back and do all the way around on the opposite side, and you won't miss the spot. And then they won't be all goopy. And they won't drip all over your nice moss that you laid down. Next we want to get is some parchment paper. Wax paper will work as well, but it might stick to the bottom a little bit. Parchment paper, they will not stick at all. I've seen some other people use glass, but you really are having to, it still sticks on glass, you really are having to pull it out, but it doesn't ruin doing the cap. But parchment paper, my friend, that is the way to go. Make a bunch of different sizes and let them all cool down, and they will cool down for you very quickly. And you're going to grab an art marker. We need an alcohol-based felt marker. Regular felt markers or Sharpies won't work. They will actually create a streaky coating. All these I had to color twice, because you will see the lines of the felt, and when you do a second coat you have a beautiful color. Now next we have is 3D fabric paint. I use glow in the dark color. I wish I would have had just white, but they didn't have white, and I was pretty excited about the glow because I thought it would glow for me. But when it dried, they dried a little lighter, and they didn't stay as dark, the tops, but you can see it at nighttime with, you don't see the glow, but you can see the little spots at nighttime. Look at that, 3-dimensional. They're so cute. So now that those are done, we are going to be adding them on to your mushroom stems along the mirror. So I kind of push in the tip into it, create a little bit of an indent with the heat of the mushroom, and then you glob some glue. And when you create a little bit of an indent, it helps affix where the little light will glow into, and makes it thinner in that area, and it gives you more of a glow area too. You can see how I bent these all going upwards to the right there. And that way they're not all just sticking out, and you'll be able to see more of the flavor of the mushroom, experience the mushroom. And you won't see this blob underneath it if you tilt, there we go, if we tilt it down just ever so slightly, and then you don't see how it affixates on there. I'm just building up a little bit more of this stem there. Looks like I missed a spot. I'm using a larger mushroom here, getting some bigger ones and finding some smaller ones for the shorter stems. And again, just have fun with it. So I decided to put all the mushrooms on first before doing the next layer of moss, which I have yet another color and 2 more different kinds to put on yet. But I need to hide a lot of glue marks and a lot of dripped glue, and where the glue connects the stems to the mirror or to the twigs. If there's a bit of a blob of glue there, I'd like to hide that. So I'm going to do that with my secondary moss. And I can't believe I had just enough stems to finish. Now we got our secondary moss here. I am using hot glue right on the mirror and the side of the stems, side of the frame. I'm trying to use my tweezers where I can so I don't burn my fingers. And I'm just starting to fill it in here. And then anywhere I see metal, I'm hiding it. Anywhere I'm seeing any excessive glue that I got a little overzealous with, or any connection points of the stem to the frame, that I'm using this. I'm also hiding the sides too of the frame just to hide the paper back mount, the foam mount that I put on. Now I'm drawing in some cracks here. I want to make it look like the moss is growing up on the mirror. So even though the prickly alpaca's mirror was broken and she used the moss along the cracks, I really dig that look. Mine's not broken, but we can sure make it look like it's grown along the cracks. So you want to pull apart as much moss as you can first, because you don't want these big pieces on. You do want to have some tweezers or chopsticks for this one because you don't want to burn your fingers. Once you put down the glue, like this, run maybe a couple inch bead at a time. And then I'm using my tweezers to squish it down to kind of keep it in whole, or else it kind of goes on you have to do a lot of trimming. You can hit it without the tweezers, but then you're gonna have to trim everything up afterwards. This way you can kind of squeeze it down as it goes and it keeps it nice and tight. And then the glue will take it in and make it harder as well. All right, so our next part is I'm going to be adding some ferns. I've added all the moss, finished that around the edges. I've added all my mushrooms, glued on all my polypores onto my mirror, which there was a bit of an incident where I lost 80% of my footage. So everything you see here, I've gathered back 90% of my footage. So I apologize, I didn't get to show you how I glued on all my mushrooms and how to blast with that. But we're gonna glue on some ferns here and see what we could do here. I think we need some little extra foliage to make it look a little bit more wild. We need a little bit more forest growth wildness happening. And I broke off a couple little pieces here and there, and I'm adding, so I kept some in clusters, and then I also had a little piece, little bit here and there. Adding some longer pieces of ferns now. I added about 4 pieces to the bottom right corner because I think that's kind of more my focus on the mirror is the bottom right. I added more mushrooms there too. Added some more mushrooms to hang out in that little area. Now here's our final reveal. Oh my gosh, look at those polypores, look at those little red tops. They are so gorgeous. The ferns along the side. Here it is now. Check her out. Added some LEDs, voltas, yes. Oh, the beautiful moss, the reindeer moss. Look at that. Oh, I love Old Man's Beard. It is such a beautiful moss. My little purple mushrooms, so cute. Well, thanks so very much for chilling out with me today. It was a pleasure hanging out with you because this one took me over a month to make. So I'm so proud to be able to show this off with you. If you made it till the end, throw me down what your favorite part of this mirror was. I don't know. For me, I think it's got to be the moss, and the purple mushrooms are my favorite. In the famous words of the prickly alpaca, could I have shown a little bit more restraint? Could I have shown a little bit more tact? No, no, I cannot. This is a masterpiece. This is not chaos. This was ridiculously fun. Have yourself an absolutely magical day.